The NASCAR Cup Series race has officially concluded from Nashville Super Speedway. We see some really solid racing, some thrilling racing, and we see Ross Chastain smash a watermelon and pick up his first victory of the 2023 season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Nashville Super Speedway, the Ally 400. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So, for the green flag drop in today's race, they actually moved the start time up of the race about 15 minutes due to potential weather was going to hit the racetrack. Also, Corey LaJoie and Daniel Suarez would have to start the rear front approve adjustments and a backup car. So at the start of the race, he had Ross Chastain lead the field from the inside with Tyler Reddick on the outside, and Ross Chastain was able to get a really strong run and was able to clear for the race lead. Both of them would stay together and they battle up front early. The first thing that happened was Kyle Busch actually came down pit road from 10th position after a right rear flat tire. It's a shame because Kyle Busch was moving through the field and was starting to move up front but had to come down pit road. Basically, then we had some really solid racing happening in the middle of the pack and in the back and also up front as well between Tyler Reddick and Ross Chastain. Then we saw green flag pit stops started happening. Ryan Preece came down first. Then the next lap we saw Bubba Wallace, Kevin Harvick, Michael McDowell pit. Unfortunately, Michael McDowell got a commitment line violation penalty. Then the next lap, Mark Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin came down pit road, and then a lot of the rest leaders came down pit road with Ross Chastain being able to hang on, I believe, at the time to the race lead. Then we basically, about 30 laps ago, we saw some really good racing up front where Tyler Reddick was able to pass Ross Chastain as basically Noah Gragson was basically holding up Ross Chastain. Both of them had some issues before in the pass at Kansas. Tyler Reddick was able to clear for the race lead. And Tyler Reddick was able to pull away. Chastain tried to close near the end, but it would not be enough. And coming off the final corner, Tyler Reddick would win stage 1 at Nashville Super Speedway. All the lap cars would come down pit road. William Byron having a really strong pit stop once again and win the race off pit road. Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch both unfortunately had speeding penalties on pit road, and AJ Allmendinger was having a really solid run, would have a terrible pit stop. So then on the restart, he had William Byron lead the field from the inside with Ross Chastain on the outside. And we saw some three-wide racing up front between William Byron, Ross Chastain, and Mark Truex Jr., who were all three wide for 2 or 3 laps, and then eventually Mark Truex Jr. was able to clear for the race lead and started to pull away. As the run went on, we started seeing green flag pit stops happening. Austin Dillon came in first and Justin Haley. Then Ty Gibbs and Kyle Busch came the next time. Then most of the rest leaders came down pit road. And then the next lap, Mark Truex Jr., he came down pit road. But then the next lap, the first caution incident came out in the race when Tyler Reddick had a tire come off coming down pit road. He basically was spinning, had a tire that was basically loose, and had to come down pit road. Because it was on pit road, he didn't lose 2 laps. Even though he did lose 2 laps, technically, he would get a tail end of the line penalty. Because of this, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, and Bubba Wallace would not come down pit road. They would cycle to the front while their other they came down pit road, and the others would cycle up. So at the restart, you had Mark Truex Jr. lead the field from the inside and Denny Hamlin on the outside, and Mark Truex Jr. got a really strong restart. But then another massive incident, probably the biggest incident of the day, happened this race between when Brad Keselowski had a terrible restart. The car just would not go, and it checked up the field, and Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch had some contact from Alex Bowman, and Ryan Blaney hit the inside wall very hard, which had no safer barrier. Can I just say, why was there no safer barrier there? There should always be safer barriers, especially in areas where you know that there could be potential hits. Cars could go a lot of different places. There needs to be safer barrier there. Glad to see that Ryan Blaney is okay. Scary situation there. Glad to see everyone was all right, but Ryan Blaney was pissed off, and I think it's understandable. It's just an unfortunate situation, though, for Ryan Blaney. He was coming back to the field and had a pretty good car. Then we went back racing lap 153 with Mark Truex Jr. leading the field from the inside with Denny Hamlin on the outside. And we saw really good racing up front between Mark Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin. But Denny Hamlin was able to get ahead of Mark Truex Jr. and was able to start pulling away. And would pull out to about a 2 or 3 tenths of a second lead, and Mark Truex Jr. was keeping Denny Hamlin in check. But coming off the final corner, Denny Hamlin would win stage number 2. All the lap cars are coming off down pit road. If Denny Hamlin would win the race off of pit road, Austin would get a speeding penalty, and Bubba Wallace, who was in 6th at the time, who actually stayed out because of that strategy, he fell from 6th-16th with a terrible pit stop and would cost him a shot at the victory. So then on the next restart, Denny Hamlin, actually the final restart of the race, you had Denny Hamlin lead the field from the inside with Mark Truex Jr. on the outside, and Denny Hamlin was able to hold the race lead. Denny Hamlin held the lead for a very long time, but you had Ross Chastain's car that was really starting to come into play, whose car came in tonight and eventually got around Denny Hamlin for the race lead with about 70 laps to go, or 60 laps to go. Then we started having green flag pit stops. First, Ryan Preece and Justin Haley came in. Then you had Kyle Larson the next lap came in. Then Daniel Suarez, Allmendinger came in the next lap. Then William Byron came down pit road. And then Kevin Harvick basically slowed down the track and was coming through the field, but unfortunately he had a flat right rear tire that took him out of contention this race. such shame because Kevin Harvick had a shot to potentially win this race, but unfortunately took him out of contention. Then a lot of other leaders came down pit road. First, Mark Truex Jr., he came down pit road and would drop a little bit back. But then if the next lap, Ross Chastain and Denny Hamlin would come down pit road, Denny Hamlin would have a terrible stop, and Ross Chastain would have a really good stop and was able to hold on to the lead. Then Christopher Bell and basically others started coming down pit road. Christopher Bell came in first. Then Brad Keselowski came in a few laps later. And then Kyle Busch, he stayed out for a very, very long time to basically get an advantage. But then eventually he came down pit road with 32 laps to go. And then Alex Bowman, he came down pit road, and it basically became a cat and mouse game between Ross Chastain and Mark Truex Jr. Mark Truex Jr. and Ross Chastain were trying to get through the traffic. It was really exciting and really thrilling to watch. Chastain had about a 1 or 2 tenth car lead at times, but once he got through some of the cars and got through making some really ballsy moves, including that 3-wide move, he was able to pull away. Near the end of the race, with a few laps to go, Mark Truex Jr. was starting to make up some ground going into turn number 1, but he would not have enough time to catch Ross Chastain, and Ross Chastain would come off the final corner and pick up his first win of the 2023 season. Ross Chastain has been solid this year, but the last few weeks, Chastain has struggled, but he had a dominant car tonight. I think he had the best car in the field. The one car just showed some really great pace and some really good speed so far in the 2023 season. So, in my opinion, I think this is a well-deserved win for Ross Chastain, and it's really good to see Trackhouse Racing get the win in their hometown. Obviously, this is the home race for Trackhouse Racing, so a really strong day for Trackhouse Racing, and congratulations to Ross Chastain. Like I said, the last 2 weeks have been a struggle for him, so great to see Ross Chastain have a really, really strong run and get the victory. Congratulations to Chastain on picking up the win. So now we're going to look at the race results, and I'll give you my score of today's race. So Ross Chastain picks up the victory. Mark Truex Jr. finished the second. While Mark Truex Jr. probably had one of the better cars in this race, another great day for Mark Truex Jr. He's definitely in the championship conversation right now. Obviously, we don't know his future past 2023, but Mark Truex Jr. has definitely a good chance to win the championship. This also conquered great track. Of course, won Dover earlier this year. Thought he was going to win, but still gets a very solid top 5 finish in second place. Denny Hamlin finishes third. Like I said, Denny Hamlin kind of got screwed because of the green flag pit stop. He would have had a shot to be up there front, but still, Denny Hamlin also got benefited by that caution for Tyler Reddick. Still gets a very solid third place finish. Chase Elliott finishes fourth, probably his best run of the season so far since coming back. Had a really great run, ran top 5 and top 10 all night long. The strongest Hendrick car for a lot of the evening. Great day with Chase Elliott finishing in fourth. A much-needed run. Needs to make up a lot of points. He was coming this race, I think, 84 points below. I think he makes up like 15 or 20 points tonight. So, great night for Chase Elliott in fourth. Kyle Larson finishes fifth. Great rebound for Kyle Larson, who was never a factor in this race. But it's been checkers and records this season. So, for him to come across the finish line with a very solid run is really, really great to see. Even though he struggled most of the evening, it's good to see Kyle Larson get a top 5 finish. William Byron finishes sixth. He was probably for a lot of night, probably the strongest Hendrick car at times, but it seems like as the night progressed, his car kind of faded, but William Byron definitely still had a very solid day. Kind of happened at Dover too, where he's really strong in the beginning and kind of faded near the end, but still a very solid top 10 finish for William Byron in sixth. Christopher Bell finished seventh. Probably had a solid car, top 5 car, but unfortunately faded as well, but ran top 10 all day, gets a very solid top 10 finish in seventh. Eric Jones finishes 8th. A really much needed run for Eric Jones, who has struggled so far in the 2023 season. His best run, I think, so far in the 2023 season. I think his only top 10s have so far come as super speedway type tracks. So a much needed run, ran top 10 all night long. Great run for Eric Jones in 8th place. Kyle Busch finishes 9th. Kyle Busch had some strategy near the end of the race that kind of helped him get up there. Kyle Busch never was a contender because he had adversity all night long, from speeding penalties to getting involved in wrecks to having something go wrong with this team and other issues. Nice rebound for Kyle Busch in 9th place. That's how championship teams are made. A great rebound for him. Never got mad on the radio, and that's what you got to do if you're going to have a shot to win races. A solid night for Kyle Busch in 9th place. AJ Allmendinger finishes 10th. Good run for AJ Allmendinger. One of his better runs, I think, of the 2023 season. Obviously, it's been a struggle for Kaulig racing this year, so good to see Allmendinger, who used that experience from the Xfinity Series race yesterday, use that experience and gets a very solid top 10 finish. Brad Keselowski finished 11th. Keselowski ran top 20 a lot of the evening, gets an 11th place finish. Great run for Brad Keselowski. He's definitely helped himself in the points right now. Daniel Suarez finishes 12th. Suarez had a top 10 car near the end of the race. Unfortunately, the car just kind of faded near the end. Never really was a factor. He was up front at times, but fell back, had to start at the rear, and still does finish in 12th place. Austin Dillon finishes 13th. For where this team was at the beginning of this race, a great rebound for him. He's been up and down this year, been a struggle for the 3 team. A solid run for Austin Dillon in 13th place. Ty Gibbs finishes 14th. Ty Gibbs at times was in the top 10, but the car kind of faded in the middle of the run. Still gets a solid top 15 finish. Bubba Wallace finishes 15th, obviously making his 200th career NASCAR Cup Series start. Just not a great day overall. Team struggled. Did have that strategy call that helped a little bit, got points, so he's still in a pretty decent position. Does make up some points tonight. I think he's 34, 35 points above the cutoff line right now, so he did make up some points. So overall, it's a solid day for him. But again, Bubba Wallace needs to have a little bit more better runs. There's a lot of road courses coming up, so I'm a little worried about that, but still does get a top 15 finish. But I feel like they had the speed to contend. I think the spin hurt him. Ryan Preece finishes 16th. At one point, Ryan Preece outside the top 30. So a great rebound from this team. I think this is Ryan Preece's second or third consecutive top 20 finish in a row. So really nice recovery for Ryan Preece in 16th. Alex Bowman finishes 17th. Bowman played the strategy call near the end that cost him, but he never was a factor. Struggled all evening. Just not a great run in 17th. Chris Buescher finished 18th. Was good early, but the car faded into the night. He finishes 18th. Joe Logano finishes 19th. Not a good day for Logano. Logano struggled all race long. Just faded near the end. He finishes 19th. And Corey LaJoie finished 20th. A solid top 20 run for Corey LaJoie. Harrison Burr finished 21st. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished 22nd. Kind of surprising. I thought Stenhouse run a lot better today. Just one of his worst runs, I think, so far of the year. He finished 22nd. Justin Haley finishes 23rd. Don't know what happened to Justin Haley. The car just faded. He was really good in the beginning, was in the top 10, especially early, but the car just was not that good as the race progressed. He finishes 23rd. Kevin Harvick finished 24th. Tough break for Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick had a shot to contend for potentially a win tonight, but still, it is what it is. It's not a good night for SHR in general, but Kevin Harvick should have been up there contending for the win, but unfortunately, that flat rear tire cost him a shot at the victory. Eric Almirola finished 25th. He was in the top 15 of points, got caught up by that Tyler Reddick situation, just never recovered after that, and just not a great night for Eric Almirola once again. We're almost halfway through the year, and Eric Almirola has one top 10. Just not a good year for Eric Almirola. Noah Gragson finished 26th. Good to see him back at the racetrack. Noah had one of his better runs, I think, of the year so far. It's just Legacy's had a struggling year. So good to see Noah Gragson come back and finish in 26th. Austin Cindric finished 27th. Cindric was not a factor. Ran basically at best 20th. It's been a strong year for the 2 team. Just no pace and no speed in that 2 car. Just not a good run for Austin Cindric. Michael McDowell finished 28th. A very surprisingly disappointing run for this team. They had that commitment line violation, never recovered. He finished 28th. J.G. Elley finishes 29th. Tyler Reddick, after his issues tonight, he had one of the strongest cars in his field. And I think Ross Chastain's biggest factor in this race. Just a tire issue cost him a shot. He finished 30th. Chase Briscoe finished 31st. They made a crew chief change, and honestly, I don't think it helped them. SHR's got to have better firehouse speed. And they qualified decent and qualified 18th. But the car as the race progressed just never came to them. It's just a disappointing, dismal day in 31st place. I think that's their second or third consecutive finish outside the top 30. Ty Dillon finishes 32nd. Brendan Poole finishes 33rd. Josh Blakey finished 34th. Todd Gillen, who had a dismal day, finishes 35th. And Ryan Blaney finishes last in 36th place. So now, let's go and talk about the overall race as a whole, and I'll give you my score of this race. This race, actually, I thought was very, very good. Sure, clean air mattered a lot for sure, because if you had clean air, your car was really, really good. And it was very, very difficult to pass. But for a track that was very, very difficult to pass, I thought the race overall was very, very solid. You had a lot of great side-by-side racing up front, a lot of side-by-side racing throughout the field, and I thought the race itself was good. In fact, I think this is definitely my favorite race, favorite national race I've ever watched. Definitely one of my favorite races so far of 2023. I'm going to give tonight's national race overall a 9 out of 10. Like I said, racing was very, very solid for sure. I really, really enjoyed it. I hope Nashville stays on the schedule long term. I thought tonight's race was good. A very fast-paced race as well. Now let's talk about NBC's coverage. NBC killed it tonight. First race back, and they've already outscored Fox on every one of their coverages so far this season. So great night, great day for NBC, and a very, very enjoyable broadcast. They were insightful, did a better job than Fox has done, and I hope they continue doing broadcasts like this because the broadcast felt energetic. This ain't the most important race of the year, and it felt like the most important race of the year with how much energy they brought, the excitement. They were really in with it. They brought a lot of intelligence and knowledge. Glad to see NBC doing a great job, and I would love for them to take the whole entire season in the next TV contract because their coverage tonight was really, really good. So, that is going to be for tonight's NASCAR Cup Series race review from Nashville Super Speedway. want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on so if I win a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below with that, and comment your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts on tonight's race? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below. And congratulate Ross Chastain on picking up the victory in Nashville. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, I should have 2 videos on the channel. I have a NASCAR news video on the channel, and we're also going to have a race picks for the Xfinity Series race at Chicago Street Course. Then on Tuesday, I potentially am going to have a video maybe previewing the Chicago Street Course race. Wednesday's going to be another NASCAR news video on the channel. And then Thursday, we're going to have race picks for Chicago Street Course race. Friday, I have another NASCAR news video. Saturday, I have the Xfinity Series race review from Chicago. And then Sunday, we'll have the Cup Series race review from Chicago. A lot of content on the way, and I hope you enjoy it. Got a lot of great stuff on the way. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's race review, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.